Hi, hello everyone, it's your old pal Berg787 back with a brand new Let's Play series, and yes, you can see we are playing a Settra the Imperishable, the man who does not serve, the King of Kings. Absolutely, the big bad boy of Khemri himself. Looking forward to doing this. Quite surprised I've never played a Tomb Kings campaign on the channel, but we are rectifying that now. Let's talk a little bit about Settra and Khemri themselves. Public order. +2, all provinces, faction effect. +10, growth, all provinces, very nice. And construction time, -1 for province, capital, and settlement buildings. So get them up quicker. Settra's Lord effects himself, 100% aura, size plus 100%, as I said. And a bit more replenishment rate for Tomb Guard and Skeleton Chariots, which are going to make up the bulk of his army, because you get some other nice, real good campaign buffs to them. Settra himself also starts with a Khemri, a War Sphinx, a tier 5 unit. Always nice when you start off with a good tier 5 unit off the bat. He starts with a unit of chariots as well, and some Tomb Guard with halberds. Awesome. We'll talk about the race attributes in a minute once we actually get onto the campaign. We will be playing on Legendary and very hard battle difficulty. I've decided this time to actually put the Chaos Invasion on, for no other reason than why not? I mean, you know my thoughts if you watched the previous past couple of Let's Play series. I've actually had the Chaos Invasion off, but let's just have it on for once, shall we? Alright, let's go.
Mighty Settra, greatest of all.
Yeah, we don't need to listen to you, old man. Alright, how they play. Khemri. Books of Nagash. Scattered far and wide throughout the world, the Books of Nagash, once collected, will grant you great powers and unique rewards. There's 8 of them. They're a bit random as to where they appear. Well, not necessarily where they appear, actually. They're generally in the same spots, but what book is where is random. And some books are better than others. We'll talk about those in a minute. Day of Awakening. Tomb King faction can recruit units into their armies without the need to pay for their recruitment or upkeep. Instead, each unit has a limited initial recruitment capacity, which can be increased through construction of additional buildings. I kind of wish all factions had something similar. I appreciate it would take a lot of rebalancing, because, you know, cash and whatnot would have to, you know, it's not just a case of giving them unit caps, you have to rebalance the whole economy system. But and I am also aware that yes, there are mods that you can use, but you know, I am quite a vanilla player. Try to stay away from mods, other than maybe some quality of life improvement mods. Not to say there's anything wrong with mods, just the way I play. But yes, you do have caps on your better units, and you need to build more of the buildings that you recruit them from. And there are other buffs that you can get to increase the unit capacities, but generally speaking, yeah, you need to build more buildings in general. And Dynasties. Tomb King's factions must delve into their past secrets to increase the number of armies, heroes they can field, and to enlist the aid of mighty lords from ancient dynasties. So, yeah, you have a cap as well, not only on units, but you have a cap on how many armies you can recruit. And again, through research, through Books of Nagash, funnily enough, there's one that does that, and through Mortuary Cult down here as well, you can increase that capacity. And Tomb Kings can spend their canoptic jars within their Mortuary Cult, where Leech Priests combine them with trade resources to craft magic items or awaken legions of legend, mighty warriors that can be recruited into battle. Yeah, that's just basically a standard crafting system. There are some cool weapons and stuff like that that you can get in there. We'll have a look at that in a second as well. Standard first chapter objective, and away we go. So Books of Nagash, there are 8 of them, as you can see. As I said, they are generally in the same spot, Skaven Blight, whatnot, but again, the order of what they are, where they are, does change. So the nearest ones to us are this one at Skaven Blight, which isn't a particularly great one, to be fair, so don't really care about that. This one, the 5th Book of Nagash, that's quite handy actually. This is a good one. Increases army capacity and our unit capacity for Tomb Guard and Skeleton Chariots as well. We have to defeat this rogue army, which we won't be doing early doors, even though it's quite near to us, because they are generally quite stacked with good units, so that will be something we'll do later on in the game. The other books that are near to us, the one in Lamia, gives campaign line of sight over regions. That's pretty shit. I suppose the plus 20% trade isn't awful, but it's not all amazing. And this one isn't particularly amazing either. There are better ones, but they are quite a bit away, so probably won't be getting them. But we will look to try and get the 5th book in the Gash, that's for sure, when we get a chance. Let's talk a little bit about Settra first before we talk about what our early objectives are. So Settra, the Great King of Nehekara, as we've discussed, that's his bonuses. He does have a couple of other ones which aren't discussed here, so, I mean, well, or negative stuff. He is weak to fire, not so good. It causes fear but not terror. He does get a charge bonus versus large, because he has a big halberd, big stick as his weapon. What else does he have? He's undead, crumbling, disintegrating, yada yada. He has the curse, so if his hit points are lower than 50% of his total hit point, he starts to do this. Direct damage area of effect, which is better against multiple combats than single entities. But again, quite a nice thing to kick in. Obviously you don't want to drop below than 50% of your health, but if you should do, at least you get something to try and help you out with. He also has My Will Be Done, which gives plus 5 melee attack and defense to all allies within, and himself, that are within 30 meters. This can be buffed with one of his skills to not increase the amount, but increase the range to 55 as well. So that's quite nice. He also has Jaff's Incantation of Cursed Blaze, which gives a buff to weapon damage and armor piercing damage, the base of it. And he also has this thing where he basically blows up 3 times the fight. So an explosion around him, which is quite good to get him out of blobs, or if he is in a big blob, to cause a lot of damage. It's quite handy. Not great against armor, but it's pretty good. It doesn't cost any winds of magic. You get to use it 3 times. Superb. Let's have a look at his skills. Settra has a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff to use and to give. And we will try and concisely cover it. So he has 2 unique items. The Crown of Nehekara, which the quest chain unlocks at rank 6. Gives him plus 10 armor, plus 15% physical resistance, and he has quite a few other buffs for physical resistance as well, so you can get that physical resistance up quite high with Settra, that's for sure. The chance of intercepting armies using the underway beast paths or world routes is whatever. And he does have a nice little passive ability which increases charge bonus and base weapon and armor piercing damage as well. And that's a constant around him for 55 meters, so pretty decent item, that's for sure. He also has the Blessed Blade of Petra. Public order to all provinces. This obviously unlocks a bit later on at rank 13. He has plus 5 melee attack, plus 10 weapon strength. Also enables him to have magical attacks, and it gives him the ability, the Blessed Blade of Petra, which is a bound spell. Gives him fire damage, and it also means that anyone who he hits has 30% minus accuracy. They're blinded, and minus 24 melee attack and melee defense. So a pretty decent weapon as well. He has 3 mounts. A skeletal steed, which, I mean, you should never ever use. Maybe in multiplayer, I don't know. I'm not particularly versed in the multiplayer scene. Maybe there is a reason why you would stick him on a skeletal steed in multiplayer to keep cost of your army down, so to speak. But on a campaign with Khemri, yeah, I mean, you're just doing it wrong if you select the skeletal steed. Let's put it that way. The 2 real options are either putting him on a Khemrian War Sphinx or the Chariot of the Gods. Now, I'm fully aware most people will choose the War Sphinx. It's easier to manage. You just click attack and let him fight big blobs. It's nice and easy. But the Chariot of the Gods is just too good. It's just such a good unit. And until you've used it, until you've got him running around trouncing through stuff, you won't appreciate how good it is. His charge speed, his charge bonus, his speed, everything about it is just monster. Get a couple of chariots to follow him around as well while he's charging around, and they become even more monster than what they become anyway through the buffs that Settra can give. It's the way to go. I would always... look, if you want to go Khemrian War Sphinx, I get it. It's easier to manage, that's for sure. But Chariot of Gods is just too fucking good. Straight up. A couple of his other skills along the top line over here. Returned in Madness. It's in plus 10 charge bonus, which he will have obviously 100 there, get another 10 there, plus more physical resistance, which is pretty sweet. Ancient Tyrant. something that we probably won't be picking because he's got too many other good things and it's not that great. Embalmed in Elixir, we will want to get at some stage. More hit points and reducing his already... so he gets 15% fire resistance, which will negate the 25% that he's got, lowering that down to 10. Ceremonial bandages we probably won't take, or if we do, very late, because he's just got so many good things to take as well. His actual Settra unique stuff, he gets Petra the Great Father, increases leadership and melee defense for Tomb Guards and Chariots, which is always nice. A nice 8 as well. It's a nice big buff to their melee defense. It also increases the rank of Tomb Princes. We'll talk a little bit more about them in a bit. He also has Unyielding Will, which is basically a buff to My Will Be Done. Again, it doesn't increase the amount that it increases of melee attack and melee defense, but it does increase the range, which is quite nice. You do have to take this to get into these. I think you only literally need to take one of these to unlock the Immortal King of Nehekra, which gives him plus 12% charge bonus and another 10% physical resistance. So it's a lot of physical resistance that he can get, as mentioned before. And that 12% charge bonus is pretty sweet as well. Especially considering when you put him on the chariot, he has a massive charge bonus, so you're getting even more value out of that 12%, that's for sure. Pretty much all of these are good. You're going to want every single one of these, apart from maybe the second rank in Restless Minions. So, first off, Conqueror of the Past, plus 2 public order, minus 3 public order in enemy provinces, plus 1 recruit rank, and local recruitment capacity. There is a way, if you spec him correctly, so to speak, or if you spec him in that way, plus add a hero and another thing, a hero who increases recruit rank as well, in there, that you can recruit units at one stage in the game, like I think almost at level 9, so at 3 gold chevrons off the bat, which is pretty impressive. But you certainly want this. This is very good. You want 2 points in Founder of Khemri, because it increases your capacity for Tomb Princes and obviously their recruit rank. Restless Minion, you only need 1 in here, so when you click it, when you get 1 point in there, it gives you an extra 2 unit capacity for basically Chariots and Tomb Guard, which is really good, and it increases their melee attack by plus 5. The second point just basically gives the Skeleton Chariots Vanguard deployment, which in a vacuum is a nice thing to have, but again, Settra has too many good skills that you kind of can't really afford to waste a point here. Trampler of Ages is fucking awesome. Plus 8% for your speed for every unit in the army, and plus 10% charge bonus. I mean, too good. And as we've discussed, the Immortal King of Nehekra, sweet skill. If you want to buff him as a fighter lord, he does have the nice Conqueror, which gives weapon strength and melee attack. Really nice. We will probably buff him. I prefer him to be a melee. I prefer to buff the melee skills rather than the magic skills. That's why I have a Leech Priest in my army to do the magic, not Settra. But, I mean, if you prefer to do the magic, I'm not going to say you're wrong. That's just my personal preference. Yeah, he has the same skill. This is all the Nehekran lore. He does have, instead of like a Leech Priest, has 3 skills that go into here, whereas he has 2, so he can cast them at a bit of a, I think at a better rate. Not a better rate, but a sort of more cost effectively. Does that make sense? But again, I'm not saying you're wrong if you do this. Feel free. I personally don't. In terms of his army skills, I do like the fact that Tomb Kings here in Sunscorched Bones, basically all this helps all of their melee infantry, and I think that every faction should have this like this. All your melee infantry should be under one thing. So in this case, Sunscorched Bones, not like the Empire where you have swordsmen, spearmen, and halberdiers on one, but then on another you've got great swords. No, they should all be in the same one, and Sunscorched Bones is that. And we will be getting that because it helps you in the early game and it helps you in the late game when you're using Tomb Guard. So again, this should be the same, I think, for all factions, but hey ho, maybe one day it will be. And his blue line tree, Route Marcher obviously is standard. Personally, I go for 2 in each of these to get Canoptic Jars, which are handy, which you need, and a bit of extra replenishment rate. Attend Me and Lightning Strike. And then All Is Mine, I think, is better than these two, so you can get Feared and Renowned, which gives you more campaign movement range, and the hero and the recruit rank as well. The other 2 aren't particularly as important, but okay, no worries. In terms of how we will be speccing, etc., the order that we'll do things, It will be Route Marcher. Now, normally I would go down to Lightning Strike first, but with Settra, because your early game army is going to have a lot of Skeleton Spearmen in it, and Skeleton Spearmen are pretty pants. You want to buff them up as soon as possible, and doing this does that. So we will go Route Marcher. Passage to the Realm gives them more leadership, and then gives them more armor and melee defense. And again, as I've already stressed, this isn't wasted points because it helps your late game army when you've switched out all those trashy Skeleton Spearmen for Tomb Guard. So amazing. We'll do that. Then we will make our way down to Lightning Strike, and by the time we've hit Lightning Strike, we will have unlocked. This will be open up. Well, it'll be open up before that, really, or roughly around the same time, and then we'll start to fill these in, and then we'll see where we're at. Obviously, at 18, we will be taking the Chariot of the Gods. Boom. Dynasties. This is basically the Tomb King research. This is how you unlock more armies. You have dynasties from the 1st to the 6th. Each of them unlock an army capacity. So it increases it by 1, where you can recruit a regular Tomb King, I think it is, or Prince or something like that, Tomb King. Or you can pay the 200 Canoptic Jars and get one of their sort of pseudo-legendary lords. Some are better than others, but, all pretty decent. There is a way you can game this as well, because as you've noticed here, your research rate reduces by 30% for each army, for each dynasty that you unlock. The way you game it is that you research this down to 1, so from 14 down to 1, and then you start another one, and then you're not incurring the penalty, and when you've researched that one, you can research the other one for one more turn, so you've got them a bit quicker. Now, you can do that. I will try and do that, but sometimes, depending on where you are at your stage of the campaign, once you've researched this down to 1, you might need a second army because you're being attacked from all sides and you just need another army. So in an ideal world, we will get the second and third armies a little bit later, but get them quicker. But we might end up just getting the first extra army, or the second army, if you will, at the normal time. What I personally like to do is research these two as my first ones off the bat. Reason being, you get a lot of buffs to Nehekran warriors who you will have in your early game army because, you probably need them. And it buffs Settra's chariots as well, makes them even better. So we do like that. And the reason why I like the Wisdom of the Third Dynasty is because I do like to unlock this guy. Because forget everything else that you see on there apart from the construction time. So he reduces construction time for all buildings in the province that he's in. So it's really great having him basically follow Settra around with another army, conquering lands, and then getting those new lands built much quicker. And you can also unlock this, which gives again a reduced cost in those the building of those buildings, if that makes sense. Because Tomb Kings really do suffer from, whilst they have free armies, their armies don't cost anything for upkeep, neither do their heroes or lords or anything like that. They don't have a lot of money, so building buildings aren't cheaper with them either. Like, some buildings are pretty cheap, but a lot of their buildings are. It's not that their buildings are super expensive, it's just that they don't generate a lot of money, so their buildings become expensive because they don't have the money to build them like a normal faction would. So anything that you can do to reduce the time and the cost to building those buildings is super duper handy. They do have 3 heroes. They have a Leech Priest, a Necrotect, and a Tomb Prince. Personally, I like to have a Leech Priest in every army with the Lore of Nehekra. That's my personal preference, and the trait that I want is Wise. We'll discuss that a little bit more when we can get them. Necrotechs I do like, and also the Leech Priests also increase replenishment rate as well. That's another reason why I like them. The Necrotechs I do like to have, but more sort of later on in the game when you've actually got more constructs, because they've got quite a few buffs and stuff like that to constructs. They do increase your mobility as well, so that's quite nice. But generally speaking, you can probably wait on Necrotechs until you've actually got more constructs to use. And Tomb Princes, I'm not going to say that I won't have any in any army, because never say never, but generally speaking, I like to keep Tomb Princes out on the map as scouts and not actually doing actions, because actions aren't scaled the cost of the action, right? They cost as much as what they cost for normal factions, but you obviously just make less money as the Tomb Kings, so it's not particularly cost effective to have them going around, assaulting units, breaking walls, all that kind of stuff. But they still do serve a purpose because they can generate canoptic jars passively, which is something that you need, and just scouting around is really handy to be able to see where you're going. So we will be getting Tomb Princes, but don't expect to see too many of them in the army. There are a couple of other things over here which you can unlock. A follower, which gives various buffs to various different units. And the very last thing here, the Heralds of Empowered gives you an extra army. Global recruitment, -1 for all units, and global recruitment capacity +3. Don't expect to get this unlocked before the end of the campaign. I'll tell you that now. Unless we go for a long victory. Cool, so let's hit in Wisdom of the First Dynasty. The rights. There's some decent rights. Casket of Souls. This is the only way you can get the Casket of Souls, which is a piece of artillery that fires some magical armor-piercing missiles. It's quite good. It also has some other buffs while the right is enacted, but the Casket of Souls stays with you throughout the whole campaign once you get one, and then the next time you reenact this right, you can recruit another one, and so on and so forth. The Great Incantation of Petra is very situational. I mean, I suppose there are ways that you could game it, where now that you can demolish a settlement, you could turn your settlement into ruins, a level 1 settlement into ruins, hire up a necrotect, and then get that settlement up to level 3. I'm not really going to be doing that. We might use this if we come across a ruin that we want to colonize and get it up to level 3, but I'm going to try and steer away from being too gamey with it. This one is, again, quite situational. I mean, maybe if you're really under massive siege and loads of people are attacking you, it's alright, but I mean, whatever. And likewise with this one as well, it is pretty good construction time, growth, canoptic jars, all for the price of 2,000 gold. We will look to use this, but again, it's not massively imperative. And finally, the Mortuary Cult. Their crafting system, obviously you need, generally speaking, canoptic jars and resources to be able to build stuff or to unlock stuff from here. Some stuff requires money as well, like army capacity, 10,000 gold, 800 canoptic jars, but most other things are kind of reasonably priced. Obviously the better items, the more stuff you need. I'm not going to go through each item one by one, but you can get a rough idea if you've never looked at them, what they do and how much they cost. There you go. Sweet. Now, Khemri as a settlement. It's a pretty cool settlement. It gets a gold mine, which generates 150 gold. Well, I suppose 195, because the main building chain has a buff to income from all buildings in all regions in this province and adjacent provinces as well. So Khemri really is a pretty cool province, that's for sure. Money, massive issue for Khemri, but it does snowball. So once you start to get more provinces, once you start to get them all built up, you start to actually generate quite a bit of money. So, but for the early game, money is just fucking king, that's for sure. Has this special pyramid, the Great Pyramid of Settra. It generates canoptic jars, adds public order, yada yada yada. It's okay. It's not great. We will build it at some stage, but we're not in a rush to build it. It's a lot of pretty cool stuff that you can get here. They're sort of like key tier 5 units. Necropolis Knights are quite nice, but to call them a tier 5 unit on par with these, I'm not sure. This is quite a good building. The Royal Burial Chamber gives you a Bone Giant, who's pretty nice. He's kind of like he's like a Cygor, if you will. But it also gives you quite nice buffs. Gives you canoptic jars, more public order, more recruit rank for your lords. All pretty good. One building you should probably steer clear of is this cavalry building. Mainly because it's not that these units are bad. Don't get me wrong. They're alright. They're pretty good. These are pretty shit. But, these are alright. These are good units. The problem comes from the fact that 25, 50... 75, so that's what, 1,500 and 10, so 25,000 gold to get this up to the top level. That's a fucking shitload of money. Why would you invest 25,000 gold for units which you get a couple of decent units from, when you could just spend 10,000 and get one of these much better units? They really need to do something about the costs on this building, because it's just outrageous considering how low, how problematic money is. Maybe merge this building with your infantry building, I don't know, so you're more chance of using it, but just to spend so much money for a faction that struggles for money, to not really get a lot of payback for it is just unreal. But there you go. We will be building the mortuary house to start with here in Khemri to increase growth. You could go for the charnel plaza because money is key. You could go for this so you can get earlier skeleton archers, but personally I think the best open is to build the mortuary house. Now, in terms of tactics, we start off at war. Let's go and have a look at diplomacy, our overall strategy. So we start off at war with the top knots and the follows in the gash. Follows in the gash down here, not particularly that interesting. We are just going to use our war with the follows in the gash to get the Bretonnians to fight them and to increase our relations with them, because I don't mind going to war with them, but I want to go at war with them on my terms, which means I don't want them attacking me, which means I want to attack them. And obviously the more concurrent wars that you're in with someone, stuff like that, it keeps your relations in a decent spot. So we will be trying to get them and the other two Bretonnian factions, and when we encounter them, to go to war with the follows of the gash so that our relations are reasonably maintained. The other sort of Tomb King people like Dumas and I can't remember what the other guys are called, Rakesh or something like that, we can get agreements with them, we can get non-aggression pacts and stuff like that. Personally, I don't, because they don't really ever attack you, and all they really do is make other people annoyed. So other people who are more dangerous to you. Do you see what I mean? So I don't care about having a non-aggression pact with someone who doesn't worry me if it's gonna at the cost of annoying someone who does worry me. Does that make sense? I hope I've explained that correctly. But anyway, that's why I don't really care that I could possibly get some treaties with them. I'm just going to ignore them and conquer them when I get a chance. In terms of what we need to do, so we're at war with the top knots. The best way to do this is to go to Zandri, Gorgazan, Galbaraz, and Argol Migdal and take them like that. There's a fourth settlement to this province up here. This one's going to be pretty tricky. We probably won't ever not ever take it, but at least in the early game we won't take it, because it will either be the Teeth Snatchers or the Bloody Hands or Grimgors at some stage, and it's just, if we can get it, great, but I'm not going to war with a big superpower over one little tiny settlement. At least not yet. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hey, well, I mean, surely it's not as simple as just bam, 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 bam. Well, no, it's not, but there's a way to do it, and if you do it in this way, usually it works out. So what we're going to do is pop Settra into Khemri. We're going to recruit a chariot, 2 of these. Oh, and then we're going to recruit from the global recruitment, because we're going to spend another turn here anyway, so just to maximise how many units we can get. Now, what will happen is the top knots will send 2 armies down here, both to raid. One usually raids around here. The other either comes to here or comes down to here. Ideally, we'd like it to come down to here, because we will then fight it twice, get 2 lots of experience from fighting it, and then basically beeline to Zandri. If it comes here, it will slow us down a little bit to get to Zandri, but it's not the end of the world. But that's our plan. And in the meantime, let's just quickly speak to them. I mean, it's very unlikely that they'll agree to this right now, but you never know. Alright, I think we've covered everything, apart from objectives. We're going to go for a short campaign victory. Followers of Nagash must be destroyed. That's not a problem. I mean, we probably won't destroy them, but someone will destroy them. We need a couple of Khemri War Sphinxes. We need to hold the Black Pyramid of Nagash, which again isn't that big a problem. We need to ensure that the following 5 buildings have been constructed. That's not a problem. And we need to control 8 of these 1, 2, 3, 7, 10 settlements. So fairly straightforward. Let's see how we can go about achieving that. Is there anything else I want to do? I don't think there is, so let's hit end turn. I have built. Yep, I have. Alright, bam. Okay. recruit another lot of Skelly boys. Now, this next turn is where the top knot should come down. As I said, we're hoping that one of their armies comes down to here rather than there, but, I mean, either way, it is what it is. Great, okay, perfect. Perfectos. Oh, interest. Oh, no, they are. Okay, I thought for some reason they were only raiding us with one army, but they are actually raiding us with 2 armies, because it zoomed in over here. Yeah, oh, okay. I could have just done that as well. Alright, brilliant. They are in encamped stance, so they do get a bit of a buff to their melee defense and leadership, but it's a pretty easy fight. We're going to fight it twice, so that we can get 2 lots of experience. So we get Root Marcher and, I can't remember what it's called, but that, you know, the first line of the red skill tree. Actually, alright, set up like that. Big boy Settra there. War Sphinx there. Chariots over here. And now let's have a little quick look at our units. Our Spearman Skelly boys. I love the colour, like the colours on this. It's like really sweet, like that they've got different coloured shields and whatnot. That's really good. More Skelly boys. The Swordsman Skelly boys look, well, pretty much exactly the same, except instead of a spear, they've got a sword. How crazy is that? Oof. Here's the Big Daddy War Sphinx. It looks so bloody good. I love those little 4 archers on here. We get a bit of sneaky ranged attack. Just looks so badass. Look at it. Zzz. Love it. Here is Settra the Imperishable with his big halberd. His big flaming eyes. He looks just a man mountain. And here are our Tomb Guard. Those big shields, their big scythes, big halberds. And here are our Chariot boys. Love me some chariots. Normally I don't like chariots, but with Settra, you gotta love chariots. Alright, let's get this show on the road. Now we're going to move over here. Never fear, they'll come to us. We're going to stay on this hill. And we're going to send over the War Kitty, who's going to start shooting at them. And then get them to come and engage us. They will. There we go. I can probably keep this sped up, actually. That's fine. Put a ram into there. Some nice damage already. We are going to be a little bit stuck in there now, so we've just got to bring him out. That's all going well over there. Let's do a bit of ramming. Now where is Settra? He's fighting away in here. charge these down this little hill. Not the best. We do have to be a little bit careful when fighting against these guys, against the piggies. Because they will cause our chariots some issues if we're not careful. I'm going to try and get our Tomb Guard to go and intercept. Oh shit, Settra is getting a bit of a bollocking over there. I'm going to pull him through. Alright, these boar boys are really annoying my chariots. Can't seem to escape them. Let's get the war kitty in there. It's not good times for our chariots, they're getting a bit fucked over here. Just going to drop that in there. If I can. There we go, at least we tied up one of them. We're going to lose a chariot here, which is quite annoying. I think we finally got him. It was a bit annoying. Could have done a better job there. Chase down these boars to kill them as much, just to make the auto resolve on the next fight just that little bit easier. Key to that fight is dealing with the boars, and I didn't do a good job. I let them get after my chariots a bit too much, and I'm disappointed with my effort. But hey, what can you do? Get better. At least we didn't lose it. The Tomb Kings have 3 really good after-fight choices here, especially when you consider some races have like fucking dog shit choices. So Endless March gives you money, which is great. Tomb Kings need money. And it gives you extra campaign movement range for 2 turns, which is really good. That does stack, not the percentage, but the turns. So let's say on the next fight, when we follow this up and fight them again, we can choose this again, and it will basically mean instead of 2 turns, we've got 4 turns at 20% movement range, which is probably what we will take as well. We can take 30 Canoptic Jars, which is pretty good as well, but at the moment not necessary. And we can take Bind Souls, which gives us some unit replenishment rate, but again, not necessary right now. Ooh, that's quite nice as well. One thing that obviously they have the Mortuary Cult, so they can build weapons and stuff like that, but the Tomb Kings find it very hard to actually find weapons, because they don't have a hero or a lord who has any kind of scouting. So any kind of weapons that you receive from fights is just a massive bonus. Sword of Anti-Heroes is a pretty decent weapon as well to have. It's not the best, but it's pretty alright. So we will gladly take that. We'll also increase Settra's Route Marcher ability. And we will follow this up. Short resolve should be fine. Right, We did lose that chariot, but it's not the end of the world. We can just recruit a new one. I'm going to take Root Marcher again. Or, not Root Marcher, but that thing. And I'm going to move down to... Where is it? Is that where the bridge is? There's like a little bridge around here somewhere. That's it. So we're going to move down here or as near to it as possible. I'll grab another chariot. A couple of these skelly boys. And then we're basically beelining to Zandri. I want to get there as quick as possible. Alright, all good.
I await. In the lady's name,
We will keep pestering Rapance
Speak your mind,
to
and she will
join a
listen.
war. She probably won't for now, but again, we can only ask. Alright, we're sprinting up to here.
Make way for Settra.
We've encountered some factions. Yeah, that was it, the Rakath dynasty. Again, as mentioned before, just befriending these guys
Of greatest
just pisses off other people and it's not worth it, so I'd rather not befriend them.
Ready! Welcome. We receive you with the lady's grace. What is your business?
Alright, no worries. Now, hopefully, there's not a lot at Zandri. Hopefully that's all there is, and we'll be good.
Settra rules all.
All good. We'll fight this manually just to make sure
Defeat is you.
no random units getting absolutely slaughtered. Oh, not Snazdrog, man. That's a pretty good name. Thankfully, no piggies for us to worry about in this fight. Two lines like that.
Great king.
I'll stick these guys on the side again. We don't have to worry about piggies. I'll keep you over here. And we will march up to here, and we'll get them to come out of their little chokehold, their choke point, chokehold, you know what I mean. And we'll do that by antagonizing them here with some arrow fire from the back of the War Sphinx. That's one orc down.
Lord Warsax.
It's like they're wearing nappies. I've never noticed that. It genuinely does look like they're wearing nappies.
Settra rules.
Come on, kiddie. Stop taking forever to get out of the way. Now, we are going to mass charge into them in a second.
I am undefeatable.
Away we go.
Settra the
Blammo.
Yes.
It's a pretty decent charge. They do have their War, but we basically almost broke that one unit there. I suppose they do have 2 units here, so we should probably rinse through these guys. Pretty nice. Let's come back for them. The rest of you guys can nicely split across. I was going to say and support these, but leave the War Kitty to chase them. Why have you stopped? Come back this way. I hate when they just randomly do shit like that. I could have sworn I told you to chase these guys down as well. Run, run, run. As fast as you can. You can't escape me. I can't think of anything good to rhyme there. Come on. Chase him down. Oh, these guys decided to turn and face, have they? Not for long, they haven't. Nah. That's it, leaping skeletons. Alright, all good. All this for Zandri. Now, Zandri must be one of the worst early game settlements that you can have to take. Because it doesn't have anything particularly good in it. Well, I suppose it does have a pyramid in there, a special pyramid, which is pretty decent. But, I mean, you can't build it anytime soon because it just costs so much money. And all it really does is just make you encounter factions who might attack you. So it's really not the best. But we need to take it as part of our plan. So obviously we've encountered a few factions over here. We'll go and deal with them in a minute. Diplomacy-wise, not fighting them. Let's go and take the skeletal steed. No, let's not. Let's buff our trash infantry. Because Lord knows they need a buffing. Grab some more of these. Now, in terms of commandments, Tomb Kings have got really everything about the Tomb Kings is so good. I mean, this is the template what all other factions should basically work towards because they've got just things that work, right? Like when you win a fight, you've got good options. You've actually got choices. Like, do I want to take this? Do I want to take that? Or do I want to take that? Not, well, everything is crap apart from this thing that's less crap, so I take that. They're just good choices. And their commandments are really good as well, and you should be switching through them more than you do on other campaigns with other factions, because obviously you want this. Not so much for the tax rate, but for the construction costs. Obviously, a faction that doesn't generate a lot of money, you want to try and reduce costs as quickly as possible. Also, not great on the growth side of things either, so you want to switch to this. Not only does it give you growth, but it also gives you movement range when you started in that province. How fucking amazing is that? You could also go for public order and untainted, really nice. If you're under threat, add in some melee defense and ambush chance, really good. Or if you're recruiting, bang, actual some replenishment rate and recruitment rate, so good. For now, since the next turn we are going to have enough population to build this, I'm going to stick this in because it'll take a turn obviously to enact And that will get us a couple more, a little bit of a discount on upgrading that building. Now,
bow before the rightful lords of
I don't expect them to do this, and to be honest with you, I'm not even sure I'd actually want a non-aggression pact, but I do want them to join in some wars. They're not up for it just yet, but
I am no churl.
they will do. Both of these two as well would be nice. More so Tilia. Tilia can sometimes just randomly decide to declare war on you, so if you can get a nap with them, that's pretty good. But otherwise, don't worry about it too much. Now, Gorgazan, thankfully, hasn't been upgraded yet, but it's going to be probably 2 turns till we get there. Although, saying that, I'm actually going to increase... I've changed my mind here. I'm going to do this, just so that I can hit it, because if I don't do that, then I have to wait another turn to grab here, and basically that turn lets me heal up a little bit more and grab 1 more unit. Whereas with that enacted, I can actually attack Gorgazan next turn, and that actually would be pretty good if I can do that, so fingers crossed. There we go, the Knights of Tony Dorigo have been met. Okay. A Tomb Prince, Necrotect and Leech Priest enter your throne room. Sounds like they're set up to a joke, right? And offer themselves in your service. We've kind of touched on this before. Personally, I would take the Leech Priest here. Hope that he's wise and from the lore of Nehekara. If not, just keep cycling until you get one. That would be my choice. But I wouldn't hang my hat and say this is the absolute correct choice. I mean, do what you want, but that's what I personally look to do. And we've got an aggressive Lore of Shadows. Okay, so it's not particularly interesting. I am just going to move him over here before I disband him, just so I could see if something was going on. Good, because it's a bit of a toss-up between what gets upgraded here, and Arag Migdal got upgraded, so that's fine. Gorgazan, hopefully. Oh, we still short? Oh, poo, I thought we weren't going to be short. Okay, never mind. Never mind. I guess we'll just do that instead. We'll still upgrade this. Xandri, I'm not going to waste too much time with that until I feel that I can defend it properly. Right now, obviously, we can't, so never mind. This we will stick into growth for 2 turns, I think. Oh no, we're already in that, sorry. You we're going to disband. See what our other options are. Doesn't cost us any money, so we can just keep doing this. No, strong and proficient caster. Boo. Thankfully, there isn't a wise one. We can't get this until we get the 6th book of Nagash, but who really cares? Even though we just actually had one, didn't we? But I don't, honestly, do not care. Oh no, it was Law of Death. But yeah, wise is what I want. Both of these are shit. Let's just recruit you to get rid of you, so that hopefully we can get a wise one next turn. We'll go and speak to our Bretonnian chums. Honor before glory.
Granted from the Lady of the Lake. What do you want? Agreed.
Alright, good. That gets them in that war.
These lands are ours by the right granted from the Lady of the Lake. What do you want? I suppose.
Good.
Yes,
that's what we want.
We receive you with the Lady's grace.
Now, usually Rapance, until the Blood Axe tribe are gone, she generally doesn't look to join another war. So
who called?
That is what it is.
Do not greet me as a friend, nor
a weak order.
Boo. No, alright, never mind.
The Empire.
Do not greet me as a friend, nor are we foes yet.
Nor are we foes yet.
I refuse.
Alright, never mind. Please let this be a new lord. We should be fine. Yeah, it's not too bad. Could have been a lot worse, let's put it that way. It's a shame we're just short, otherwise I could have quickly cheekily grabbed the casket of souls. Nope, we do not have what we want. So we'll keep doing that. I am going to switch out of this and switch to Worship of Pakth, I guess it's pronounced, but anyway, the construction costs, because next term we will be able to build 2 buildings, and I'd rather build them at a cheaper rate. Now we just got to make sure that we tie up those piggies better this time. So if those piggies get tied up and we can sort of like get them out the fight fairly quickly, which I should have really done on the first fight, it was just poor from me, then this fight won't be too big of a deal. Okay.
Mightiest of kings. I agree. Settra moves.
Little pig, little pig. Let me in. I was going to say you might want to run up a bit because they might just decide to steam in. Alright, here they come. I do realise that I'm giving them like a downslope there. But it's to try and capture, if that makes sense. Like that. To try and tie them up. Now, some of them are escaping, but a big load of them are stuck in there. Kind of the same over here. You just go and chase them. The rest of you need to get your asses over here.
My orders enacted.
And you guys abuse these guys. Come on, charge through here. Blam. Oh shit. It's not what I meant to do. They've chased off the piggies, which is good. Settra needs to get out of there. Charge over there. Need you guys back over here. Chariot's causing problems, which is good. Etc. That's it. Should be pretty nice. Pretty good. Settra, get out of there. That broke them. Rear charge over here should break them. Now a frontal charge over here should get rid of these guys. Come on. Mass route, mass route, mass route. Okay. Probably should have concentrated more on, ignored the arrow boys and just rear charged a lot of the infantry. I think that would have been a better move, but doesn't matter. Won the fight. The important stuff survived. Yeah, I should have just ignored the arrow boys. Or at least dealt with them last, basically. Okay, whatever.
Settra the Imperishable.
We can grab some more skelly boys. We've got more than enough for what we need to go and take Galbaraz, let's put it that way. Increase that a bit. As we said, we don't have a Leech Priest that we want. If I did see one, though, that had Wise, I would grab it, even if it wasn't for the right school, just for a turn, if that makes sense, to grab some more Canoptic Jars. I'm pretty sure I went and spoke to these guys, but
bow before the rightful lords of this
Peasants were
just double check.
protector. The laws of chivalry demand.
never.
Is it time? Welcome. We receive you with the lady's grace.
The
What is your
lady.
business?
Alright, never mind. Now, you might be wondering what this thing is. This is the army that has the one of the books of Nagash. That's good, you keep raiding down here. I like that. Alright, and I think we're going to end this episode here. So all in all, the start that I wanted, we've done that. Next, we're off to Galbaraz. Hopefully we'll be able to do that in 2 turns. We'll merge a few units over here, but we've got more than enough to get in there and take what we need. Yeah, more than enough. Alright, cool. As it's the first episode of a new series, if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please do hit the like button. Join us tomorrow when we'll continue things. But until then, thank you very much for watching. And see you then. Bye-bye.